Hey, it's Alphamediaroom. Welcome to episode 1. We're going to cover, a little different type of topics, what I'm saying? Just some topics that I have on the top of my head, with the Joe Budden and Raqi situation. It's the first one. I just find it very interesting because if you're looking at the way it all started, the way Rocky Thunda talks about, okay, who brought you on to Love and Hip Hop? Now, Joe seems to have not the best memory on who brought him on because he said it was somebody else.
Being a gaslighter, but when niggas be mad at me, I honestly don't know what niggas be mad at. I'm such an angel. What happened?
We're gonna leave it right there, Joe.
See what happens?
You can't say what he did?
No, in all honesty, it involves multiple people. So I don't think with respect to them, I'm gonna just leave that alone and one day, maybe privately. Or maybe not.
And
No,
for
no,
me,
no.
Danny is
gentleman.
too stupid.
Say it again. I missed that.
I said, do you know how many lies I've heard you say in these spaces regarding me, but I just let it go because adult.
Like
Rocky, you didn't get me on. All right, where you want to start? Come on, all right, I'll give you a little light one. Why are you telling people that you got me on Love and Hip Hop?
I did not?
No.
Joseph Budden.
I will call Mona Scott Young right now. No.
Here's the thing. One thing for sure, me and Mona have not been on good terms since Love. Let's be very clear. You're also the commodity here. You've done multiple seasons, and I'm sure she's, God willing, you would go on again. So that we can't.
Okay, so scratch Mona Scott Young.
Did I or did I not? Was I or was I not the first there to interview? The show was going to be based on me, Tahiri, and someone else. And then I brought your name up 20,000 fucking times in the interview because I said, fuck it, let me bring my bestie on with me. You and I put this whole plan together, and then you flipped on me and
Rocky, let me just tell you.
Joe, you came in after your interview was maybe 4 or 5 days after mine.
Your version.
It only made sense for you to come on because it was me, you, and T.
Your version of things could not be further from the truth. Honestly, that's revisionist history. So yes. Wait, let me come on. Or you go and I'll wait.
No. You go ahead.
Yes. You were interviewed before me. And then I got a call to be interviewed. I was always in the plan. And of course, they asked you about me in your interview with them knowing that I was in the plan. That is how Love and Hip Hop interviews are.
I want to be very clear. They never asked jack shit about you because T was there, who didn't have anything to do with you for a couple of years before we even filmed the show.
Rocky, you would be naive to think that Mona Scott Young did not have plans on doing some bullshit with Tahiri and myself, knowing that nobody spoke to Tahiri in years.
No, I'll tell you who it was. I think you know. Me, Tahiri, someone with the initial E, and someone with the initial F. That was the actual storyline, which I think would have been much more closer to the truth because we know the whole triangulation, love triangle shit is the furthest thing from the truth. Can we agree about that now, finally, 12 years later?
I don't know what love triangle you're referring to.
Oh, and there it is.
There was never any depiction of a love triangle.
Joseph Budden, I applaud you. This is the most honest shit you have ever said.
I don't get it. There's never been a love triangle with me, you, and Shorty.
Thank you. I swear.
You've been telling that little lie about how you and Shorty.
Want to finish with the first one?
All right, you go ahead.
No. The first one was, so you're saying that I did not bring you on Love and Hip Hop, although I was interviewed first, although I was supposed to be on season 1, season 2, then season 3. And the only reason why I took season 3 is because the dynamics of radio changed with cameras being there. They never asked me a singular question about you. I brought you up because I know the basis of the show is love and hip hop. I knew for a fact I wasn't bringing a love on the show.
Raqi, I'm telling you that you and I were mere cogs in the grand scheme of Mona Scott Young's play.
I'll
And
take that.
that's everything that happened in that first run.
So I'll take that.
You and I,
I'll take
you
that.
were not in that much control. I was not in that much. There was no control. Like when you tell this story, you have a lot of control in the story. Like you say, me and Shorty Doo-Wop teamed up and we was gonna do the script this way. None of that happened like that. And I'm not trying to gaslight your experience, but that's not what was happening.
Okay, so where I had the control in this situation was there was someone else. The whole storyline was supposed to be based on someone else that I had dated and someone else had dated at the time. I refused.
They lied, girl.
Okay.
Why do you keep telling me what they said? They lied.
Are you asking me from my side or not?
Go ahead.
Because you was about to get them on the phone as your backup, but now they're lying. Which one are they? Liars on the phone or no?
Girl, they were lying to everyone that first run where nobody was worth nothing.
So I'm telling my truth. When I came to the studio days before you did, the storyline was based on someone else who I'd be damn if I have a storyline based on. So I used you as a crutch. This is my best friend. This is my best friend. We're going to do radio together. He knows me like no one else knows me. I know him. Terry's already here. This makes sense. Let's do it. 3-4 days later, you're getting interviewed. Right on.
But I was getting interviewed anyways, what I'm telling you.
Okay. What's the next lie?
Well, are we done with this one?
I'd say you were going based off of your assumption that you were going to get interviewed anyway.
What is that?
Your assumption that...
And your other lie about how you and Shorty was on the phone getting to play together. Raqi, come on.
Okay, so...
Come on, Raqi.
And he never really wanted to give credit to Rocky Thunda. And it seems like he already felt like there was already an interview set into play for him already, even with or without Rocky's assistance. But, you know, I think it does help the fact that she was giving him good words behind the scenes to the producers and the directors. Even though, yes, he's correct, they were pawns of the situation, because, you know, who always end up profiting the most is the people who directed and made the actual show. So the beef between Joe Budden and Rocky Thunda, it seems like it's very personal, it's very deep, and I feel like it's maybe a one-sided personal and deep, because the way Rocky Thunda explains her trauma, her pain, you can tell it's from a very powerful, deep place. And the way Joe, maybe because he's so in his character mode, I don't know, he won't really show that like a vulnerable side. So you don't really see him choking up or getting emotional in the situation. But, you know, it's kind of hard to hear like how someone feels, or how someone feels like you betrayed them or hurt them and not really feel anything. So, you know, and I'm an empath, so I definitely like felt everything she was saying. I was like, damn, like that's deep, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Whether it's right or wrong, or whether Joe feels like he's right or wrong, bro, like, bro, the right thing to do is to apologize to any woman who feels that hurt. Like, but you could feel it. You could feel the hurt. You could feel the pain. And you know that the reason why they're in pain is because the way the story was manipulated in the show, which affected her bottom line, her money, and the way that she can possibly move on to the next career, which could be, you know, whatever she was trying to do. You know what I'm saying? Because she's talented in a lot of different spheres when it comes to writing, you know, media trained, all of this stuff like that. Like, different people got different talents. You know, she's really supposed to be in that Melissa Ford seat. To me, the way I hear her speak to Joe or react to Joe and Imani, and the way there is a chemistry, even if they try to pretend like it's not, it's just a natural chemistry. And that's something you can't take away, even when they're not friends. It's just, to me personally, that's how I see it. So with that lets me know that, I mean, it's just some stuff that this is deep to me. But, you know, the general public don't really, I guess, deserve that. I don't know. Maybe that's more of a personal behind the scenes thing, to where I can see them having conversations behind the scenes to where it could possibly lead to maybe an apology. But I know it's not, you can't force an apology if it's not going to feel authentic and stuff like that. So it has to happen naturally. But there's no way Joe is just gonna brush that off. I feel like in time, his memory will allow him to kind of soak in what he kind of heard and stuff like that. Because I honestly think she doesn't want to end him. You know, she just wants like a closure, recollection. I don't know the right word, but you know what I'm saying? Because she's taken up a lot of the battles for a lot of her friends. Because most of the girls that Joe hurt, a lot of those are friends, or I believe are close to friends, or have conversations with Rocky Thunda about the situation, and she's carrying a lot of their burdens as well on top of her own burden. That's what she says. She's not going to wake it up or like talk about that specific situation in that depth unless she's going to be on Tasha K or somebody, like, you know, you can't just give that up for free, to me personally, if it's that deep and if it's that powerful, and especially if it's true. So these are all the things that I'm like, you know, understanding and trying to put the pieces together, because this looked like it was a real friendship that could possibly get to the next level in terms of media 1-2 duo punch. Because when you look at how Rocky Thunda carries herself on Twitter, you can tell that she has a personality that is kind of made for the podcast scene, just naturally. And on top of that, when she's talking about the first interviews they were doing together when they were young, like they were the definition to me of best friends. That's why I do feel like it's personal and it's deep. And I was finding it kind of interesting or odd that Joe didn't, you know, show enough vulnerability while having conversations about this type of moment in his life with her, because she's like, bro, we were best friends at the time. Like, you know what I'm saying? And anybody, you know, you have a best friend, especially when it's opposite gender, that's like really your best friend. You know what I'm saying? Because there's really, especially when you don't have sex, like I'm talking about like it's an actual friendship there. So like it kind of hurt to see how, you know, cold he was a little bit on it, but he did, I feel like, gave her a little bit of closure by even engaging or having a conversation. So I feel like there's something to walk away with. You're never gonna have an apology. Sometimes you're never gonna get the apology from the abuser or the abused situation, right? You're never gonna always get that, but just even having the opportunity to just have the conversation and tell the abuser, hey, this is how you did me wrong, this is how you did me, that for me is a type of closure. And I feel like she got a little bit of that, and maybe they can build off of it and move on. But at the same time, it could all just be a play and a joke, but I really don't think so. I really feel like this was two best friends that could have made it big together personality wise, but things fell apart, and you know, stuff happens in life, and now it's kind of like the spaces is the best way to where they can connect a little bit, if not just hear each other, you know what I'm saying? And as ex-best friends or best friends, there, you know each other a little bit. You still know each other, even if you don't know each other for a long time. It's still that connection, because you can obviously tell. But that's basically all I have on basically the Joe Budden and Raqi situation. In terms of like my thoughts on the relationship, on can it build, can it grow, can it be something that it isn't? Can she be the next person that can be guest on there multiple times? No, I don't think so, because she denies that that's ever a possibility. And I feel like Joe also wouldn't do that because of his business and all of the other stuff. But, you know, I feel like deep down we can kind of tell, you know what I'm saying? And the Mandy B versus Melissa Ford situation is even more crazier, because that's another person who feels like they're supposed to be Melissa Ford's spot. So it's very interesting, because I feel like all of this kind of stems from the Melissa Ford seat being available, like a woman being able to speak with a room full of dudes. Like there's certain women that are built for those roles and that handle those environments very well. You know, public opinion will say that Melissa Ford doesn't. So that's basically all I have to say on that situation. But let's just get into our next situation, which is kind of nasty, right? Tell me how Steph Curry, he gets drug tested. Anthony Edwards gets drug tested. Kevin Durant gets drug tested.
After the gold medal, I'm not gonna lie, me and him had a what they call it, a drug test. We had a drug test. What? Yeah. We couldn't even really celebrate in the locker room for real, because me, him, and Steph had to take like a drug test or something.
It's only right they gave Steph one. The way he closed that deal. Because that was crazy.
He supposed to got one after the first Serbia game.
Exactly.
Now you telling me they have monumental games, they blow up, they everybody going crazy game to game to game. Steph Curry should have actually got the MVP, and I'm not even a Steph Curry fan or stan. I'm just like, bro, it's clear as day he outplayed a lot of the players who they're supposed to look down the stretch because they're taller and they're more skilled in terms of the mid range or whatever, right? With KD or people like with LeBron who just slashed to the basket and used the chicken wing. I found it very interesting that LeBron James did not get PD tested. It's just weird to me because how can he not get tested but Steph Curry, like that doesn't make any sense because LeBron James' whole resume is just full of allegations made by people who were professionals. Balco Labs became synonymous with PEDs in the mid 2000s. So Balco was like a supply performance enhancing drugs to where some of the most successful athletes of the era was alleged to be used on it, like Barry Bonds, Marion Jones, stuff like that. So Balco eventually will go extinct after being raided by the federal government, right? Conti, I believe his name is Dr. Conti, right? And then Shell Sonnen was the name, said that he and LeBron shared the same drug doctor. Then you also have an interview with Jason Whitlock where this is basically what's going on.
What do you think of all the conversation around LeBron James? Kevin Garnett makes a statement during a podcast that LeBron's on that new Balco, blah, blah, blah. And there's been a lot of rumors and speculation and the whole biogenesis, I think, DEA investigation. People attached to LeBron were connected to that. Should we be suspicious of the longevity of LeBron's career?
Yes, there's reason for suspicion. Okay. Then you have what they call comfortable satisfaction that arbitrators use in the world of sport. These things that you just mentioned, his manager, his agent, his wife, his trainer, all being connected to the biogenesis clinic, as well as another drug dealer at a gym. So it wasn't just biogenesis, there was another connection as well. And then some of this testimony that, his agent on a monthly basis was going by the biogenesis clinic and picking up a package of PEDs with the initials LJ on them. So when you take all this information, all of these things that bring this cloud of suspicion, that's what you asked me about, should they be suspicious? And the answer is yes. When Chael Sonnen, the UFC MMA fighter who works for ESPN, said, I'll tell you exactly what he's taking. He's using EPO. And how do I know? Because I'm using the exact same supplier to get EPO. I have not heard LeBron James dispute that. Not a peep, have you?
No.
So when something comes out, now I want to be fair to him, but let me tell you something else I know. Right before I got on this program, I called and I talked with a writer. There's a lot of articles out there. In fact, I even sent some of them to you in preparation for this case, for this interview. This writer was on this case and this investigation for 6.5 years. The word that he used was that ESPN basically blocked him from saying certain things in his articles and his reporting. He was blocked. He said there was much more in terms of information and innuendo, but they were unwilling to allow him to print this in his articles. So now we've got, later I'll talk to him and see if I can get some of the specifics. But he said, listen, there's more to this than you know. I believe this does need to be followed up and more questions need to be asked by people like yourself.
I don't think people fully grasp that performance-enhancing drugs help basketball players just as much as any other sport.
Absolutely.
And he and I have one thing in common. We use the same drug dealer to buy our EPO. And I don't see anything wrong with that.
Is there validity to your story with the same drug dealer? Is that actually accurate? Straight up.
Specific, but it was something called EPO. And in the world of performance-enhancing drugs, in my experience, EPO is king, and it is king by 8. I would pass up 5 other stuff just to have that, but it's very, very difficult to get. It's very expensive. We happen to have the same guy. I didn't say that to out him and or embarrass him. This wasn't like a dry snitch. I'm sharing that if you want to get a basketball and you want to make it to 38, you want to be the MVP of the league, you can't just go do certain things. There's a little bit more to it. But you leave out the anabolics, which you know is what's actually creating that, not the pancakes in the morning and the 4 a.m. wake up. I think that you need to say it. I do. Or you can just stay away from it. So I helped LeBron. He didn't have the courage to say it, so I said it for him.
Wow.
Right. So when he's talking about they're going into the packages and picking up packages with PEDs where it's like LJs on it, stuff like that, can't y'all tell that LeBron James is on something? After 2012, I remember he was suffering mad cramps and stuff like that. All of a sudden, his cramps went down. He was able to play way longer periods. He was able to be way more durable, and he got tired less. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's very interesting how that's supposed to happen. Like, you don't get younger as you get older. That doesn't make any sense. So on top of that, his vertical, the way he's running down the court, like at a rapid pace over and over again, and able to jump at this apex every single time, that doesn't make any sense either. When you look at athletes like Vince Carter, who was a better dunker than LeBron James, Vince Carter could play till he was 42, but you can clearly tell that he declined in every single attribute of the game, other than his natural leaping ability. But you can also tell that it looked more like, okay, that's a 40-year-old guy dunking. So why does LeBron James have the ability to outlast players like Carmelo Anthony, Dwayne Wade, who was in the same draft class, who retired years and years before him? I find it very interesting. I find it very unfair that the Olympics doesn't push down or press down on that type of testing on LeBron James. They kind of played like he was the favorite the whole entire Olympics. They were acting like he was the monument, that he was the king. He's not the king, bro. In terms of winning, he doesn't win a lot. You know, he doesn't win a lot of championships. His career isn't championship studded. It's not. It just naturally isn't. Most of his careers is full of the greatest, biggest failures on top of some good moments that just makes it theatrical, especially off the fact that the media promotes him to make him as if he is chosen, when technically he's not. Because if you look at his at 40, he's not skilled. When MJ was scoring in the Wizards in 2003, he was scoring using a lot of skillful moves like fadeaways, post fadeaways, doing a lot of different moves to get to the rack, right? LeBron James, what is the one move he consistently keeps doing? He runs, chicken wing arm the defender out the way, and then does a layup. It's not even a fancy, nice layup. It's always something that's very brute and very like a train wreck, just running through the system. Like, it doesn't make any sense. So if you're looking at this type of guy and you're elevating him and promoting him constantly, he can't play off the ball. So he has to be ball dominant. That's why in the Olympics, a lot of the games were close when they weren't supposed to be close. The reason why those games were specifically close was because LeBron James was carrying the ball up and down the court. He has to have the ball in his hand when he runs up and down the court. How does somebody not like that get PED tested when you're 40 years old and you're able to get that much ball control and you're able to have that much usage on you? That doesn't make any sense. You got Steph Curry running around setting picks all day for you. That doesn't make any sense, but he doesn't get the ball back. Joel Embiid doesn't get the ball. Nobody gets the ball. LeBron James gets to do all of this stuff to like 5 seconds in the shot clock, and then passes somebody who he expects to be wide open, and everybody's supposed to stand still. It's a very different type of basketball game. It's not really basketball, and there's really never no plays drawn. So that's why I feel like it was unfair that Steph Curry, AE, and KD gets basically drug tested when they played the most natural and the most regular games. Like, except for Steph Curry, he kind of went to a different realm, which he's the only one that it makes a little bit sense. But LeBron James also had like a triple-double damn near and was having like 14 rebounds and 15 points type stuff. Like, he was having ridiculous stats. And then all of a sudden, now he's not getting tested, or we don't hear nothing about him getting tested, or even if he did, what was his results? That's why I find it so odd and so interesting Because I just can't believe in my right mind that someone that's going to be 41 or 40 years old can be able to play in the NBA system that is made for running all day, jumping, and then you're getting younger and younger as the NBA goes on. You're getting younger talent that jumps higher, that is more skilled, that can dribble better. And then on top of that, he doesn't come off the bench. So that person is able to play 35 minutes, 40 minutes a game, and he doesn't get tested for PEDs. But someone in they, let's say, middle of their 30s gets tested for PEDs for just having a shooting game where he's just shooting. He just shot it well. It just went in the rim. You don't see Steph Curry jumping out the gym, throwing 360 layups, running back and forth. He's just shooting. So it's not much to where I'm like, I got a PED test him every 5 seconds if all he's doing is shooting, bro. LeBron James is doing stuff that's physically almost impossible. Like, Father Time is humanly not real. So if we're saying stuff is not real and impossible, why can't we check on, is that really authentic and original? Because if it is, then I want to give you your proper praise. Wow, you have a once in a lifetime, once in a generational type of bodies type, once in a human, I'm talking about generations of generations. It's never been done. So you are the only human to ever be able to do this at 40-something years old? That's weird to me. Very odd. Very, very odd. And on top of that, if you look at the mileage on his body, apparently he ran the longest because he had to get the number one scoring, right? Number one scoring of all time. So the amount of usage that's on his legs, it doesn't make any sense. We're going to just sit here and allow him to just play like this. We're not going to question. We're going to be like sheep and just be like, all right, LeBron James, oh, this is LeBron James, oh, there's nothing wrong with LeBron James, oh, he could just run around, yeah, he's a specimen. No, that's not the right mindset to have, bro. That's just what I'm thinking, because personally, if you're looking at how KD's playing basketball, you're looking at how Steph Curry and even Anthony Edwards playing basketball, they're using basketball with skill, right? They're using moves, combo moves. Steph Curry's running around. He's doing a lot of drill moves, basically, but also he can do stuff off the dribble here and there, right? But you can tell that he's doing cone dribble type stuff. He's doing cone drill type moves. You can tell he's doing basketball moves. What LeBron is doing is cheating the system. That's the difference. He also gets away with offensive fouls oftenly. Like, you don't see none of those other three players that I name even use offensive fouls to get buckets, really, to be honest. So I just find it so interesting that nobody, the masses, the blogs, it's not a number one conversation of why isn't LeBron James being tested. This should be the number one issue in America, is making sure that guy is a clean athlete. We had multiple instances where athletes will retire and then years later they will get caught and people will talk about them getting PEDs. So who's going to come out when LeBron James retires? Is that the reason why he won't retire? Is because the NBA knows that he's a commodity and he makes money for them. So when he retires, he's not going to be able to make money for them, really. So is he sticking the NBA up, trying to get as much money as possible and own as much things as possible to where when he does get caught, that he'll have enough money and cachet in different businesses? I don't know. He just bought stake in Boston, the Boston Celtics. So I also don't know why he did that, because he talked about the Boston Celtics being racist, or that's a racist organization, system, city, all that stuff. But you go and you want to own a piece of it right after they won a championship. Man, everything he do is snake-like and it's not authentic. And I also find it very weird that he gets to trade on Drake. Me being a Drake hater, it's like, bro, you not supposed to be with Kendrick Lamar. You are like Drake. So go over there and act like Drake with them Drake dudes. He want to hop on anything that's trendy, anything that's lit. That's why Drake don't like him. All of a sudden, he don't post about him or nothing like that. He posting about KD. KD yelled at me or called me a lame for basically talking about Drake and calling him soft, basically for hanging with Drake. That's how much KD gonna ride for Drake. So that's why Drake love him. But LeBron James, he's never been real to nobody. He stabbed Dwayne Wade on the back. He knew Dwayne Wade was getting traded, and he was sitting right there looking at Dwayne Wade. That was foul, and that's your homie. That's your homie. Like your homie. Like weirdo type, really, really weird boyfriend homie. You did that to him. You stab everyone that's close to you in the back, and I'm pretty sure you stabbed, I'm not even gonna keep it going, but LeBron James, bro, you are a phony. And I can't wait until one day he actually get exposed, because I really do feel like his whole career is kind of a lie. And I feel like the media propped him up to be bigger than what he is. He's not that, like Kobe. You look at Kobe's spirit, his skill, the way he spent time in the gym. Notice LeBron James don't spend time in the gym. He doesn't practice. Y'all don't even realize that the reason why the Lakers are so bad is because they don't practice basketball. When you talk about Frank Vogel, who's a great coach, he's saying that, we never got a chance to practice. That's why we don't know it. That's why we're not playing good. There's no connection. Patrick Beverley said the same thing. How is Darvin Ham supposed to coach anybody, Russell Westbrook or anybody, if he doesn't even get the chance to practice? Russell Westbrook is someone who has to practice with his teammates so they can get accustomed to him passing the ball while he's driving to the lane. The only person he had great rapport with was Wenyen Gabriel when he was playing on the Lakers. I could tell by the way they did pick and roll, it was great connection, even without practicing. That's how I know that those were high IQ basketball players. So it's very interesting that the public don't want to talk about that. The media don't want to talk about that. ESPN, SportsCenter, none of these people want to talk about the fact that the Lakers don't practice. Any team that's with LeBron James don't practice. So how can you hold everybody else accountable if they're not being able to practice their jump shots with the team? So they're not supposed to get accustomed to the person passing the ball, so they shoot the shot. Then everybody else is practicing. But then when LeBron James come, he don't practice. He just watches you practice. Then by the time he joins the game, you don't know how to play with him because he don't practice with you. So if you don't shoot well, you're on the bench. But that's why I noticed when Russell Westbrook played good when LeBron James and Anthony Davis wasn't on that team, because he was able to practice with the other players. But AD's always hurt and LeBron don't ever practice. All he do is some weird free throw shots and he still shoots 69% to 72% from the free throw line. He can't shoot, has a horrible jump shot form, but somehow he doesn't get PED tested. I find that so weird to me, but that's basically my thoughts on that situation. I don't want to harp on it too long because I will go down on a maybe 3-hour rant on basically how I feel like LeBron James is a piece of crap. All right. So the next topic I have for you all is basically the Lil Yachty and Drake. So Lil Yachty and Drake situation, I wasn't really going to bring this up, but the only reason why I brought this up is because my theory is almost proven correct. I was thinking maybe like 2 days ago, I noticed, not even 2 days ago, maybe a day ago, I seen that Academics posted this.
I heard it's coming out, people, with a music video. Now, there's some interesting shit going on here. I hear the Super Soak track is coming out. Music video included. One caveat. There's no Lil Yachty on it, which that's a little confusing to me, but it is what it is. Only confusing because it was Yachty's song initially. Drake sent that to Yachty for it to be on Yachty's Concrete project. Yachty said, look, there we go. There we go.
Now, when Academics posted about that, he said about the Super Soak song, Lil Yachty has been left off. Now, I'm thinking, okay, now Lil Yachty's being left off for one reason, the Joe Budden interview. Because on the Joe Budden interview, they were talking about music, trying to do different beats or whatever, right? They were having a good time, or it seems like it. Or even the fact that Lil Yachty would interview one of Drake's considered his ops. Just like how Drake turned on LeBron James for dancing to Kendrick Lamar. Why would you go interview Joe Budden after I told you I probably don't like Joe Budden because how he talks about me and stuff like that, and how he tried to give up my secrets? That's how I feel about the situation with Lil Yachty and Drake. I feel like Drake feels like Lil Yachty snaked him. But it's also funny because Lil Yachty probably feel like Drake snaked him because he took him off the song, and Drake's dropping the music video without Lil Yachty in it. So that's very interesting because he just used Lil Yachty's creative ability to make the song. Right, not creative ability, but used his ability because he basically probably wrote the song or the idea or the concept, used that ability of Lil Yachty, and then now you want to throw him away because now you're tired of him or you feel like he did something dirty to you. Meanwhile, that dude was delusional as hell defending you while the Kendrick Lamar and Drake beef stuff was going on. He was defending the hell out of Drake, looking real stupid. So I feel like Drake drew the line with the Joe Budden interview because I feel like Drake is very, very, very petty, very, very, very sassy. And I feel like it's just in his personality to really go at people in a nasty way that's either going to mess up their bottom line money-wise, or there's going to end up with their like a girlfriend situation or wife situation. That's the way he attacked. Very petty, very nasty, and very snake-like. So I find it very interesting because not only does Lil Yachty have so many credits on For All the Dogs or Her Loss, Lil Yachty has been quote unquote Drake's best friend or bestie alongside with 21 Savage. So I find it very interesting, and maybe because 21 Savage is very quiet, he's very loyal to Drake because he doesn't say much. So it's not, Lil Yachty's way more out there, does interviews, podcasts, does a bunch of stuff to where his voice and what he has to say is being heard. So you hear that type of situation and you're like, okay, Lil Yachty unfollows Drake. What happens next? What happens next is Drake will drop the single, Super Soul, and he probably will add an extra verse or do something different to where it's like, okay, this song is gonna hit the charts, right? Whether it's good or bad, I feel like it's not good, but hey, it's him, so we know it's gonna do some type of traction because of his fan base or stands at this point and have to defend him any way possible. So you have that type of stuff situation going on. And then now what's going to happen is Lil Yachty's going to he's going to draw some type of, he's going to stay quiet for a while, but then he's going to start to resent Drake. He's going to start doing these petty things that he learned from Drake to Drake without saying that he's upset at Drake. That's what's going to happen. And it could all be a play really, but I think that's what's going to happen. And I feel like you're also going to see Lil Yachty distance himself from Drake a lot more. And maybe the more that he does, the better. Because I feel like Drake kind of makes his personality kind of a lot like his. And he did stuff like leak the song that the producer said not to leak. That he didn't give him approval for the beat. But yet he still goes and leak it to Kai Cenat. So why would you go do that? Because Drake told you to do that. And then once you get blamed for it, now you're off for the song. Like, that's what I'm saying. When it comes to this Drake situation, even the fact that he got caught on the Monkey app and you got academics out here still defending him after he's being caught literally on an app that's made for minors. That doesn't make any sense to me. The fact that this guy is still able to walk around, breathe, have a song, anything. He should literally either be halfway getting a bunch of lawsuits on him. Like, why is he not getting them Diddy treatment? Like, in terms of lawsuits, it needs to, maybe he has a bunch of NDAs. And if there's an NDA clause one day for the whole entire America, you got a week to like file anything that you feel like is against the NDA rights or whatever. And I feel like maybe that's the only way we're going to be able to get some change or voice of opinion in terms of like what is going on with this Drake situation and will the embassy get raided? Because I feel like Kendrick is too cerebral to just throw something out there that y'all feel like it's false or feels like it's just not true. When I'm literally watching, and I covered the video, I made a whole live on this dude being caught on the Monkey app with a woman who basically tells girls on the app to show their body parts. I don't find it quite odd that Drake would have a connection with that person, but the fact that he pretended to not know what she was doing on the app and not know that she was going to be on the app, and he should have just FaceTimed her, and on top of that, to just basically follow her on Instagram when she only got thousands of followers, like not even a lot. So I find that very interesting, on top of the fact that she still has a job. So let me know what y'all think in the comments below, because for me, I feel like Drake is a snake and LeBron James is a snake. And this right now, like what Cat Williams said, where all of the fakes basically are going to be exposed, right? Everything will come to light, basically, is what he started the year off with. And ever since then, almost everything has come to light. And if not, more and more things keep happening to cut more into light, to where we're seeing a lot more of the truth happening. So we got people that people would have never thought in a million years would have fall, right? But that's what's happening right before our eyes. But let me know what y'all think in the comments below. It's been your boy Alphamediaroom, you know what I'm saying? Episode 1, you know what I'm saying, of the podcast that we just start up. We was like, yo, let's just do something crazy. Let's just cover these topics. But we're going to come back to you with episode 2 with a lot more topics as we get more and more accustomed to doing these type of things. But you know what I'm saying, like, comment, share, and subscribe wherever you're hearing this from. You know what I'm saying, give me your feedback. How do you feel about the points that I've made? Is it right? Is it wrong? Is it outlandish? Or do I hit it right on the money every single time? Or, you know what I'm saying, how do you really feel about the situations at hand between Lil Yachty and Drake, or Joe Budden Raqi situation, or Steph Curry being drug tested when LeBron James should be drug tested? Let me know what y'all think. Peace.